Hey guys, good to see you. How are things? I hope everybody's well. We're back today. It's a little bit of an impromptu video today, and we're showing you a knife that I got last week, and I've barely taken it off my neck since I got it last week. So anyone that's watching Eagle Ridge for the last couple of years, you'll be familiar with a guy. I call him the Welsh Wizard, Robert Evans. He's a knife maker. He's a full-time knife maker now, and he makes really exquisite knives actually. And I've been a champion of his knives now for a while and putting them forward, and I've a lot of time for his knives. And why are his knives so good? Well, he's a very knowledgeable outdoorsman himself. And the problem with some knife makers, I've seen this 20 odd years ago with hunting knives for deer hunting that are being made by a knife maker that has never growled a deer, never necked a deer, never skinned a deer, and yet he feels that he knows exactly what a deer stalker would need in a knife. So Robert knows he knows how to make a knife, he knows his trade, and he also knows the craft that his trade, the knife, is expected to be used in. So I'll give you an unveil here anyhow. This is the FTP full Tang Puukko, and I asked Robert a while ago would he make me a kind of a primitive jute sisal type wrap version of this. I like primitive knives, and I really like this. Now there's something very special about this knife, and what's so special about it is that Robert gifted it to me, and very few knife makers have sent me gifts over the years. Jason Hobo Forge sent me a beautiful Puukko years ago, but generally speaking, I'm just dependent on my family to buy me knives, to buy them for myself, or Gary gives me knives. Okay, other than that, very few knife makers have gifted me knives. Now, what I like about this knife, well, apart from I just think it looks really cool, but it's very lightweight. Because we have no micarta on the handles, it's very lightweight, so it's very comfortable as a neck knife carry. It's in a upside down sheet, and because of the flat profile of it, it's very unnoticeable, shall we say, under your shirt. Now, I've made a few things with it. I've made 2 net needles with it, feather sticks, I've carved a few traps, and the beauty of this is, although a small knife, it's entirely full Tang, and it's definitely strong enough to be considered a survival knife. It'll batten down, and you can use it to cross baton material and make shelters and prep up firewood. And like we said, in Ireland, the land of hypothermia, if your knife isn't helping you making some sort of shelter, and that has to include the potential of maybe having to batten wrist thick type material or thereabouts to that size in a cross battening fashion, that we wouldn't have had a saw with us. Now this can do all of this, and it's, for its size, because it's a small knife, right? There it is in my palm. For its size, it's incredibly robust. 3mm, absolute solid Tang. There are no holes through the Tang. There's no skeletonized things in this Tang to reduce weight and also reduce strength. So it's a really strong knife. And like with all Rob Evans knives, it has an incredibly screaming sharp spine, which we'll show you now. And I do feel that some of the really good tests for a knife is if it's has enough dexterity and is nimble enough to carve something like a net needle, and it can make traps, and it can handle up to or thereabouts wrist thick type material. You're looking good for a survival knife. Like, this is the type of knife that you could have on you at any given time. So one of my favourite, and for any young kids in the audience, this is how images used to arrive years and years ago. This is an old film canister. And in here we have some jute twine that I have separated and just fluffed up. And it's one of my favourite go-to strike one ferro rod igniters. So you can see crazy sharp spine. I would expect nothing less of Robert Evans. Of late I haven't been using spines really very much. I use this nearly exclusively, but what should happen if I didn't have this? So I like to have a really sharp spine nonetheless. So we're going to give this a few strikes, and my preferred method, as you've heard on so many occasions, is to anchor your hand and draw your ferro rod back so that you're not really pushing any of this delicate material that you've created and sending it all over the place, strewn all over the forest floor. That's really important. And as you can see, it works a charm on that. This knife, I've done a hell of a lot of work with this, and I'd say I have hardly left it out of my hands since I got it, you know. And it mightn't be everybody's cup of tea, but I really like the primitive look. And the thing about it is, if the primitive look isn't for you, I don't have one of my other FTPs with me today, full Tang Puukkos, but Rob can do a beautiful job with micarta on it, and it's a really classy looking knife. But I like the primitive look. After all, my kids do call me the savage, and I think it suits me. So guys, give Rob a shout if you're looking for a knife. Tell him I sent you, and thanks for dropping by, and hopefully we'll see you soon next week.